All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello, Captain.
How's it going? We are recording here. It is November 12th. We're rapidly approaching our Black Friday that we talked about last week, pretty much it in detail. And we went into great detail last week on the Black Friday opportunity that's ahead of us. I think it's going to be even bigger and more competitive this year because of everything being shut down. I think there's going to be, if you think about it, I've heard some stuff. You guys all know what traditional Black Friday is, right? It is mayhem and madness in the stores. Well, unless something radically changes in the next week or two, that's not going to be allowed. So people are not going to be allowed to just pummel the stores. There's only going to be a few people in there at a time. And if you think about that from the perspective of the store, what's that going to do to the store owner's profit? I mean, that was like a day where they would just blow out inventory. And if they can only have X amount of people inside that establishment at one time, that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt really bad. And they know that. They have been prepared for that. They've been planning for it. So what that means to us is I think there's going to be more pressure. There's going to be a lot more pressure to online sales, which means there's going to be a lot more ads. Expect, if you guys are buying ads, expect your cost of your ads to go up. I don't know if any of you recognized it or realized it, but just in the last month, ads have gone up because of the election. You know, there was a lot of ad space that was being taken up by political stuff. And all it does is when there's more people willing to spend money on ads, the price of the ads goes up. It's all bid style. It's all auction style bidding on ad placement. Whether you're doing pay-per-click or you're doing Facebook ads, YouTube ads, it doesn't matter. The more people that are willing to pay, the higher the price goes. It's all driven by how many people are willing to pay and how much they're willing to pay. So I think you're going to see more of that in the next couple of weeks, because a lot of these advertisers, I mean, what are they going to do? They're going to have to make some sort of a shift. So they're going to be shifting to online advertising. They're going to be shifting to online Black Friday specials. And that's just going to be something I think we should expect. So what does that mean for us? Just means we got to be better. We have to up our game. If there's going to be more competition for the eyeballs, that rolls back to attention grabbing. You know, that rolls back to the big idea. If you're running ads, and you know, this goes back to what David Ogilvy said back in, I believe, in the 50s about advertisements, is if you are running ads that are not based on a big idea, they're going to pass like a ship in the night, meaning they won't be seen. You know, he said that. It was very true. And you can see it throughout history. Ads that are attached to a big idea run over and over and over for years because they work. Anything that grabs attention, it works. Sometimes it's hard to understand. Like you see some of those ads in the Super Bowl ads can get kind of crazy. It's like, what are these people thinking? But here's a little side note. You don't always want to copy what everyone else is doing. If you try and copy a Super Bowl ad, you're probably going to die on the vine, because those guys, they can afford to throw money away. You want to be careful. I tell everybody, look at what your competitors are doing, not necessarily to copy them, but to learn from them. If you, and take all things into consideration too, when you're looking at something someone else is doing, what size of company are they? Are they putting a portion of their money into branding and they're just trying to get their name out? Because if that's the case, if you're following somebody that has a huge budget and they're branding and you try and replicate that, you don't have the budget to brand like they do. And it doesn't mean they're making money off the ads. It means they're trying to get brand recognition for making money in the future. Big companies have that kind of budget. They have that kind of leverage. We generally don't. So you want to be careful not to just take what you see and run with it. This advertising, it is a thinking person's game. You have to really think about stuff. It's not a reactive game. It's a very strategic game. You have to plan your strategy. You have to execute your strategy. So understanding what's going on around you, that's important. Deciphering it and understanding it is even more important. So keep that in mind if you're out there and you're doing your research and your analysis and you're looking at what other people are doing. But that kind of circles back to, we have to be better. If we're going to be in a competitive market like Black Friday, I can assure you it's going to be competitive, where you guys will win the game, where you have a huge, massive advantage over the retailers is within your own lists. This is where you can make the most bang for your buck. You can make the most money the fastest. Now, if you guys are just getting started out and you don't have a list yet, then pay attention right now to what I'm talking about, because over the next year, you're going to want to build that list so you can take advantage of it. Your internal list is the most valuable asset in your entire company. I can guarantee you that. You can go to that list. You can fall back on that list in time of disaster, and that list will always come through for you, as long as you treat it with respect. Your list is, those are people that follow you. Those are people that have taken an offer from you, whether it was a free lead magnet or whether they purchased a product or something. They put their trust in you to give you their email address. Do not abuse that. If you do, you'll lose them. And every time I've done that, every time I've made a deal with the devil, I've damaged my list. And what I mean by a deal with the devil is I say, hey, I'll promote you and if you promote me. And every time I've done that with the wrong person, I've damaged my list. And what I mean by the wrong person is their offer wasn't resonating with my list. Like, I know what my list wants. I know what they need. I have a big list. It's segmented. Like, you guys are a part of my list. You guys are interested in marketing. Some of you are interested in SEO. The ones that are specifically interested in just SEO, I send them different stuff than I send to the generic list or to the list that you guys are on with ACT. So I'm very respectful of what I will send out to who, and make sure it's targeted. It doesn't waste your time. The last thing I want to do is waste your time, because when I send an email out, I like the fact that people pay attention to them. I know you guys get an email from me every week just as a reminder to the call. And that's all that is. It's just a reminder. I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's just a courtesy. And generally they're all the same. It's the same email every week. So, you don't have to read it. It's just shows up, you see it, boom, you get on the call, right? If there's ever anything that I want you to pay attention to, you'll notice I'll have a different subject line in it. Like, it will say right in the subject, you will know you need to look at this. It'll say something like, new date this week, or special event coming up, or I'm going to reveal something really cool on the call this week. I'll put something in there that will let you know. Again, that's a courtesy, so you know when to pay attention. And I have pretty much done a really good job over the years of training my lists on when to pay attention, what to pay attention to. And I do pretty good at getting people to show up. I don't have a big list, but my list works really well for me. So that's what you want to do. You want to develop over the next year, you want to develop a list. Even if you have one, I'd like to see you double it. You know, if you can double the list, you should be able to double your income. It's really that simple, because your income comes from that list. And all things equal, if that list is double, your income should be double as well. That just stands to reason. Now, it's not going to be double just by magic. Like, let's say we just drop twice as many people in your list. That in itself does not mean you're going to double your income. You have to do something with them. You have to make offers. You know, that's how we make money as business people. That's how we make money as marketers, is by crafting offers. It follows a particular recipe. You know, it's the ACT program. It's exactly what ad agencies have been doing for over 100 years. They identify a market. You know, this is the analysis. This is the A part of ACT. They identify a market. They identify a problem solution. You know, there's always a villain and there's a hero. You know, you want to position yourself or your product as the hero to whatever the villain is. Like today, you know, the villain, there's a couple of big villains in our world right now. One of them is called a pandemic. You know, that's a villain. That's hurting businesses. If you've got something that can alleviate that hurt, then you've got a hero. And by introducing the hero to defeat the villain to somebody that the villain is hurting, you will make money. So understanding your list, understanding who the villains are and who the heroes are, and even if you don't have a hero for them, maybe you know somebody that does. And that's called an affiliate. You can introduce an affiliate product. You can make, you know, what I call that money in the middle, just by making the connection. Your list is absolute gold. There's a lot of ways that you could double your income next year. One of them is by doubling your list size. One of them is by doubling the amount of offers you send to your list. If you send X amount of offers over the year and you make X amount of dollars, it stands to reason that if you increase the amount of offers by double, you probably should double your income. Now, again, keeping in mind, your offers have to be right. You can't just throw offers out there. They have to have all those key components. They've got to grab attention. They've got to create demand and desire for the thing. They have to eliminate the objections and then make the right offer. So there's a lot of pieces, you know, there's a lot of pieces to the puzzle, and it's a moving target all the time. So I don't want you guys to think that marketing is easy. It is not. The biggest problem I've seen is people underestimating what it takes to make a sale. They think, oh, I have this great thing, I'm just going to throw it out there and everybody's going to buy it. I can assure you they're not. If you don't have those 4 key components in place, if you don't have that big idea on the front, the big idea is it's the entry point. And when we're talking about competition, like what's coming, what's ahead, the Black Friday, all those retailers are going to be pining for the same eyeballs. You're going to need to have something that's better. You're going to need to understand the villain. You're going to need to understand what they're going through. All those pieces of the A, the analysis and ACT, to be really important that you understand your market. Understand what they're going through, what they're feeling. A lot of people hurting right now. I don't think people are going to be buying stuff like they might have been last year. They're not going to be buying a lot of luxury items. Business owners, you know, specifically, some of them are thriving. You know, some of them have leveraged technology. They've taken advantage of the pandemic.
Some of them have bought yachts.
Yeah, I am one of the ones that has taken advantage. I identified the villain, and, you know, I've been the hero in a lot of cases to a lot of people.
Yep.
I've shown people how to do webinars. I've shown people how to use Zoom. I've shown people how their websites are not converting. All of that stuff. I identified the villain and showed up as the hero. That's how you make money. So that's all you have to do. I mean, well, maybe not all you have to do. There's a lot more to it, but in the simplistic form. That's really it. That's the backbone of the formula, is you're solving a problem, you're filling a hole. If there's a hole and you can fill it, there's money to be made. So, and like I said, there is a lot of holes right now. When things change, it creates chaos, and people get in overwhelm very easily, especially over tech stuff. Like when you look at what's going on, the shift has been toward tech. That's the big shift here. And everybody's fighting it. Everybody says, I'm not a techie. Everybody says I'm overwhelmed. I don't understand the tech, all of that stuff. And I get it. Believe it or not, I'm not really a tech guy either. And a lot of people, you don't believe that. Well, it's true. Like right now, if my computer got a virus and crashed, I'd be on the phone with somebody. I'd be kind of freaking out. I might not show it, but I would be freaking out a little bit inside. And I would be trying to find somebody that could fill the hole, because I just had a big hole show up in the road ahead of me. But I would not be the one to fix it. If I were the last person on earth and I had to fix that, I would be in complete overwhelm. I would be scrambling. I would not be thinking clearly. I would be trying to solve the problem that I knew nothing about. There's a lot of people out there that can fix those problems, and so you don't have to worry about it. There's a concept I learned from somebody many years ago, is you will make the most money and be the most profitable if you do what you do best. And you make money where you know how to make money, and you let other people do the rest. And that's a hard thing. That's a really hard thing for a lot of us to really internalize, because we like control. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm a bit of a control freak. And I think a lot of us have that in common. That's a kind of a common thing in business. We don't want to let go of the reins. Like a lot of Craig Doswalt, he's very much like that. He has trouble letting go of the reins. He could do a lot better. He could have a lot more free time if he would offshoot some of the stuff that he's doing himself. I'm the same way. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. But anyway, that's the thing. So back to the thing, I'm not the tech guy a lot of you think I am, but what I am, I'm really good at finding solutions for things. If there's a problem, I am a master at finding a solution for it. Doesn't mean I'm going to be the one that does it. And I have made a lot of money over the years in finding those solutions for other people. Like, let's look at one segment of my business that has, not really anything to do with anything we're talking about. It's web development. A lot of people don't see me as a web developer, but I do. My company does a lot of web development. I'm not the developer. If you drop me in front of WordPress and said, hey, you have to figure this out, you have to build a website out of WordPress, it'd be the same thing as if my computer just got a virus. I'd be freaking out inside looking for somebody to fix the problem. So I don't do that. My company builds websites every day of the year, but not by my hands. So, and that's a big problem. A lot of people have trouble. Like when I do SEO, somebody comes to me for SEO and I'm going to do a free consult with them. The first thing I'm looking at, is their site even SEOable? And most of them are not. First thing I'll look at, I'll pull their site up, I'll see if it's secure. And probably four out of 5 sites won't pass my criteria. And I would say probably 4 out of 10 are going to have broken SSL certificates, or they're going to have images that are not secure, giving errors, security errors. Google doesn't like that. So I don't want to take that person on if I'm going to have to fight that battle. I'm like, no, That needs to be fixed. That's web development. Next thing, is the site responsive? If you shrink down the browser, does it reformat to the different sizes? If it doesn't, it's not what I consider mobile friendly. And again, Google's not going to like that. I don't want to take on a client where I'm going to have an uphill battle. I don't like those kind of scenarios. So now I've just discovered a big problem for this person. I'm like, your site's not really SEOable. Well, there's a big hole now that I just exposed. I didn't make it. I didn't create it. It was already there. I just shined a light on it. And what do you think that person is going to want? I just created massive demand and desire for them to get that site fixed. And the next thing, now, again, think about this. I'm the one that's showing it to them. I have never had a person ask me, do you know someone that can fix it? Never. What they ask me is, can you fix it? And I say, yes, I can. I'm not the one that's going to do it, but I'm going to get it handled for you. You know, my company fixes it. Yes, absolutely. That's what we do.
What's it called when I need somebody?
So part of what you want to do in marketing is try and find those opportunities. Find out where those holes are for your prospects and shine a light on it for them. You know, a lot of my webinars, I do quite a few webinars. That's how I bring new clients in. That's one of my client acquisition formulas, is to do a webinar. In fact, I'm doing one Monday on an SEO product. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shine a light on the big problem for them. That comes from one of Frank Kern's magic models. He calls it his magic model formula, in fact. And the first piece of the formula, it's how to, basically what his magic model is, it's how to create a presentation. How to create a presentation that sells. And his formula is pretty simple. He charged $10,000 for this formula, to teach people this formula. And I'm going to give it to you in about less than 5 minutes. It's pretty simple. The first thing he does is he shines a light on what he calls the B.A.P. B.A.P is a big ass problem. So that's what he calls it. He shines a light on it. He exposes it. And then he tells you why what you think is bad isn't really the bad part. There's something worse to it. You know, like right now, you could shine the light on the problem of, you know, you guys are not able to go to marketing events. If that's where you were getting your customers, that rug's been pulled out from underneath you. That's pretty bad because you can't get new customers. You know, that's a big ass problem, right? What makes that worse? One of the things that makes it worse is it's creating havoc. It's creating a lack of funds in a lot of your customers, even if you could get to them. What makes that even worse? This is called twisting the knife. What makes that even worse is if that causes you to go out of business, you're not even going to be able to get a job, because all the jobs have dried up too because of the pandemic. So that's a case of exposing, shining a light on a big ass problem and showing them why it's not even the worst part. You twist the knife. That's the second part of his thing. And then you want to, now you've taken them into the pit of hell, basically. You don't want to leave them there. That's just cruel. So now you basically tell them it's not all that bad. Look, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Let me show you how to dig out of this hole that we're all in. He's introducing the fact that there's a solution. He's not telling you what it is. He's just introducing you to the fact that there is a solution and I'm going to share it with you. And he shares it in this way. I'm not going to tell you, and this is him, basically, I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you, you know, the thing that will do it for you. I'm going to show you how to manually dig your way out of this. So he says, here's what you would want to do. Here's what you would have to do to get to the other side. This is basically an equivalent to our timeline. When somebody is in a particular place on the timeline and they want to get to their desired outcome, which is out of that pit of hell, whatever it is, that's their first desired outcome. So we're now going to show them, we're going to teach them how to do it. We're going to show them what's involved step by step. There might be 3 steps, there might be 10 steps, whatever it is for you. You're going to show them the roadmap. And basically, we've got a mountain to climb here. As you're giving them the steps, as you're telling them exactly what to do, you want to also, along the road there, you want to also give them tips how to do it without getting in trouble. Those are called landmines. We want to guide them around the landmines so they don't get blown up in the process. At the end of that, now that we've told them what to watch out for, what to do exactly step by step, now becomes, we've created a pretty big demand and desire, but we've also created a massive objection. And the massive objection is an objection that works in our favor. The objection is, I don't want to do all that. Oh my God, you know, they're like, I want the thing. I know how to do it now, but oh my God, I do not want to do that. So that's the objection, right? Well, what's the answer to that objection? How about if I just do it for you? And that now becomes the offer. The offer is, look, I've done this before. I could do it 10 times faster than you because I'm not doing it for the first time. I'm going to be much more effective at it, more efficient at it. I've got a team of people in place that do this every day for people just like you. And you craft your offer. You craft an irresistible offer. They know what it would take. You've just told them. They know what it would cost them, both in time and money and frustration and learning curve and everything else. And then you make your offer. And when they stack that up against your offer is so appealing. You've got so much value proposition that they just take the offer. They'd be crazy not to. Right? So that's his magic model. So hopefully that I didn't time it, but I think that was probably 5 minutes or less for something he sold for $10,000. And I got to tell you, it's worth it. I didn't pay that much for it, but I think I paid $2,000 when I went through it because he had sold it for the umpteenth time and he had discounted it. But I got to tell you, when I paid the $2,000 for it, I felt a little cheated because in the free part of him selling it to me, he gave me 99% of it. I paid $2,000 for the final 1%, which I wasn't too impressed with, to tell you the truth. But here's the outcome. Here's the moral to the story. I took the magic model and I used it in a presentation that I gave at Glacier Kennedy. And I used it almost to the T. I even stole some of his slides. And the outcome was, in the presentation, I had 70 minutes on stage in front of 2,000 business owners. I sold 70 units at $2,000 each. So I basically walked out the back door with $140,000 in sales from following that thing that cost me $2,000. Now, if I hadn't paid the $2,000, I wouldn't have known the formula. I would have made a different presentation, and I don't believe I would have got that result. I think by paying the $2,000 to get that formula, I believe it made that back for me in spades. It made that back for me. I don't know what I would have made without it, but I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been 140 grand. I don't think I would have made 70 sales. Here's the other thing that I learned about that too. And this goes back to the ACT program. This goes back to analysis and messaging. When I look at the numbers, this is purely by the numbers. 2,000 people in the room. I sold 70 units. That's roughly 3.5%. That's about 3.5%. Now, it probably wasn't that bad because out of the 2,000 people, about half of them had a partner with them, whether it was a spouse or a business partner or whatever. So that brings it down to really, I had 1,000 opportunities for a sale and I made 70. So that takes me up to 7%, right? That's a 7% conversion if you look at it that way, which is a realistic way to look at it. So I had a 7% conversion ratio. I took almost the identical presentation. There was somebody in the audience, like I didn't just make 140 grand on that presentation. Somebody in the audience came up to me and they were from the American Dental Association. And they said, I absolutely loved your presentation. I would love for you to come to Colorado, to Denver, and do the same presentation for our dentists. That was like 2 weeks later. All I did, I took the exact presentation. I changed out about 4 or 5 of the slides and I changed my angle slightly. I took a different big idea that was specific to the dentists. Now, in the Glazier Kennedy audience, I had those 2,000 people. They were all over the place. There was chiropractors, there was dentists, there was plumbers, there was publishers, there was speakers, authors, coaches. Everyone was in the room. So I didn't have the ability or the luxury to be able to cater my speech to any one person. I had to split it down the middle. When I did the same speech 2 weeks later to the American Dental Association, I was specific. I knew who I was talking to, and I tailored the presentation to match it identically. And I didn't have a 7% conversion ratio. And I had a lot of things going against me. I was the last speaker in a 3-day event right after lunch. I mean, these people had been pitched for 3 days. They had spent a ton of money. They were tired. They were ready to go home and they just got fed. I mean, that's pretty poor odds for a speaker. That's like the worst thing you could hope for a speaking thing. Well, my conversion ratio, the audience wasn't that big, granted, but my conversion ratio is 43%. I sold 43% of that room. I was like, holy shit. And it was just from doing that. It's just from following what you guys are learning in ACT, understanding your audience, knowing what's important to them, and altering the message to match the audience. It's so those 3 key components. It's your audience, your message, and driving the message to the right traffic. That could make a huge difference in your sales and your profitability in your company. And this circles back to your list. Understand your list, tag your list. I would love to see you guys have multiple tags for every prospect on your list. Every time your audience interacts with an email, if you can tag them, because they're raising their hand, they're telling you what they're interested in. Like if you send an email out to your whole list, and let's say there's 100 people on there, and 20 of them respond, put a tag on those 20 people that will tell you next time, hey, these people raised their hand for that. So you might want to send those 20 people more messages that had to do with that, not to the rest of the list because you'll alienate them. Send generic lists or send generic messages to the list once. Tag the respondents and then follow up with them. Yes, Allie, you muted out.
I know you say this a lot, but it's basic, I'm sure, to you, but how do you how do you do a tag?
Okay, so if let's say you send an email out to your list, and this is from within Kartra. I'll tell you how to do it with Kartra because Kartra makes it super easy. You can create an unlimited amount of tags inside Kartra. You can make a tag for anything you want. And then you can have ways that a person could get that tag applied to them. One of the ways is by visiting a website. So you can put a tag that, hey, if anybody visits this website, apply the tag to them. You can have it if somebody clicks a link, apply a tag to them. You can have it if they fill out an opt-in box, an opt-in form, a tag gets applied. If they purchase a product, a tag gets applied. If the product is a recurring membership and they cancel a membership, a tag could be applied. Now, how powerful would that be for you to have a tag on everyone that canceled out on a membership? Because you can, at your fingertips now, you can pull up an email and you can tell Kartra, let's send an email to everyone that has canceled their subscription. Let's give them a special offer. Let's give them a re-invite to try and get them back in. We did something wrong, obviously. They canceled out. Something wasn't right. They weren't happy for some reason, or maybe their credit card just expired and they didn't update it, and Kartra tried 3 times and then canceled them out.
John,
Wasn't their fault.
can I ask why you would do that as a tag and not put them on a list?
Tags, well, if you have lists, you're going to wind up with a bunch of lists that are irrelevant, that are not necessary. If you do it as a tag, a person could be on one list and they can have multiple tags for it.
Well, what I mean is that as people are leaving my membership, I'm, instead of tagging them, I'm putting canceled gold standard. And that way I can just email that list.
It's really, I mean, in answer to your question, it really works the same either way. It's just a way to designate them. If you prefer to have them on their own list, there's no problem with that. For me, myself, I have found that if I have a bunch of lists and a bunch of tags, it just causes confusion for me.
So you don't do lists at all then?
Oh yeah, I do lists, but I do more generic type lists. Like I'll do a list for SEO prospects. I'll do a list for people that are commercial clients, because I know on that list, I should never send them anything outside of commercial offers. But I don't do a ton of lists. What I've found, and I learned this kind of the hard way. It was part of my learning curve. When I got into Kartra, I was so excited about having the ability to make all these lists and tags that I kind of went crazy. And I made a bunch of lists like what you're talking about, and I made a bunch of tags. And then I just got confused on what was what. So I went back and I cleaned it up. And I basically merged some of them together into fewer lists, and I just made more tags. And for me, it just keeps things a lot simpler and cleaner in my head.
Okay, so I guess it's just an organizational thing, because
Yeah.
I've been with Kartra for about a year now, and I got tons of tags and tons of lists. And what I'm using tags for is when I want to do something more immediately. Like if I send an email and I go, oh, well, everybody that clicked on this link, I'd like to tag them so that I can go back and do something else with them. But that over time, I'll delete that tag because I won't be using.
Yeah, you can delete tags. Here's a way that I decided that here's how I was going to think about it. When I have a different business, that's where I'll create a different list. So if I have a business that is completely different and irrelevant to the rest, that's where I'll create a new list.
Got it. Yeah.
And then I will tag within that list according to, the criteria of that business.
Oh, that's really helpful, because I've got the whole, real people offshoot.
Yeah.
And right now they're tagged. I see the value of having them be on a list instead.
Yeah. Because one of the things about a list is when you look at your list, you're looking at list size. So you're looking at list size overall. And then when you're looking at tags, you're looking at segmentations of that list. So you can see, okay, my overall list size is X. And then my segment size of that list is I've got 3 segments, and I see the size of each one of them. So it's very clean and very compartmentalized. And then when I have a whole different business, I can look at that list And I can say, okay, my business A has 1,000 people. My business B has 10,000 people. My business A is bringing me 80% of my revenue from a much smaller list. So now I can start making decisions of, okay, well, even though it's a smaller list, I want to spend more time over there because it's more profitable.
Got it. That makes total sense. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that advice.
So that's the way I look at that, at lists versus tags. And like I said, I made the mistake at first because I was so excited about having unlimited lists and tags that I just went kind of crazy.
That's where I'm at. So I'm
And-
really cleaning up Kartra and downsizing a lot of this stuff. So perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is a perfect example in Craig's world. He's got a list for all of his rock stars. Well, they use the same account for Natasha's, her modeling agency. So that's just a different list. It's all inside the same Kartra account, but it's very segregated. You know, Natasha has her list. She's got her tags. Craig has his list and he has his tags. Totally different business. And it's very easy to not make mistakes that way when you send out to your whole list. So if they were combined, Craig could wind up sending his stuff to Natasha's list. That wouldn't be good. And vice versa. Like you can imagine if you started receiving model notifications from Craig, you'd probably go, what the hell is he doing?
Yeah, and I see where this hasn't worked for the people that were on my list as real people who have zero interest in meeting, you know, a casting director for.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So your list, I'm telling you right now, your list is your most valuable asset in your company. That is where you can go to bring dollars in, even in the midst of a shitstorm. You know, even if the world falls apart and you can't advertise, or, you know, Google pulls the plug on you, you run out of money, you know, worst case scenario, you just don't have a dollar to advertise. You can always fall back on your list and get by. Where if you don't have the list, you're kind of shit out of luck when the shit hits the fan. So that list is your saving grace in your business. It should be treated as absolute gold. So now you know why I won't, you know, do anything to damage my list. That list has made me so much money over the years. It's crazy. It's part of the reason why I can buy a boat in the middle of a pandemic. You know, most people are not saying that right now. Most
Have you
people
put your
are-
A-list together, John, for who's going to go on that boat with you? Just asking, just saying.
Well, actually, tomorrow is going to be our first mastermind for our apprentices. So we're
Woohoo.
doing the first one tomorrow as kind of a little exploratory deal, and then we'll be opening up many more of those to everybody. So look
John,
forward.
I've got a quick question for you. If you could answer this for me.
Sure.
How do I embed a Kartra link into a hidden page on my website? So right now, when I just talked to somebody and they responded with, well, why do I have to go to Kartra? And so with everything that I'm doing, Kartra is always at the front of a link. So if I drop that into a chat box, you see Kartra. So I really want to get people going to my website.
Sure. Well, what you can do is you can actually put a custom domain inside Kartra, so it'll get rid of the Kartra link and all of your stuff for Kartra.
Can you show me how to do that?
That way it looks like it's on your site itself. So let me see here. Let me see if I can find mine and get in there.
So I would actually put the custom domain inside Kartra, so it will go to the, I'm confused. Where does it actually go?
That's correct. Let me show you here. I'll share my screen. Let me get my Kartra up here. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You guys all see what I'm looking at?
Yes.
Okay, so over here under your profile, you click the little arrow and that'll open up this box and you go to custom domains. And then when the custom domains thing comes up, you've got the little plus button over here if you want to create a new one. But on my internet dominators, what I did, I created a subdomain of Dominators. And if I were to do this again, I would probably be more creative. I was kind of when I did this, I was kind of in that spot of I was not in a creative mindset and I just needed to get it done. So I just said, well, what the hell? I'm just going to call it Dominators. But this replaces the www. Now, in a lot of cases, I've recommended that people use get. Like for Natasha, she has peak models. I said, let's use the subdomain of get.peakmodels.com. So it's kind of catchy. So if you have something that's catchy that can go in front of your domain, then you want to just set that up. In your hosting company, you set that up as a subdomain, and all it takes is a DNS record to do it. So, and I know you guys probably don't know what any of that means, and it's okay. All you have to do is just call your hosting company and just tell them what you see in Kartra. When you create this, I'll do a subdomain, and I'll just kind of go through the steps. So I'll say get internet dominators.com. Okay, and then you can do a fave icon. That's basically the little icon that shows up in the window when you have a Kartra page. It shows the little K for Kartra. Well, I don't want the little K. I want my own little logo in there. So that's where you put the fave icon, and it's just an image. You just upload it there, and then you say next, and then here's an important message. This says that this is where it tells you what record you need to set up in your hosting account to make this happen, to connect the dots. That way Kartra knows where to point this and it can make that connection for you. So right here, it says for Kartra to plug right into your domain, you'll need to log in into the service where you purchase the domain and add a CNAME record. So you could call, like if you were with GoDaddy and they were hosting your account, or you were with me and I was hosting your account, or whatever, you just call up the person hosting your account and you say, I need a CNAME record pointed to, this is going to be your Kartra address. Mine is Dominator. That's my name in Kartra. So it's dominator.kartra.com. When you set this up, it'll tell you what yours is. So you just tell your host, I need a CNAME record set up to point to my Kartra address. And then they just set it up. It takes like 10 seconds for them to do it. It's no big deal. They put in your subdomain, like in my case, it would be get. I say, I want to set up a CNAME record that points get.internetdominators.com to dominator.kartra.com. And they're like, cool, okay. They type those two things in, hit a button, and it's done. That's it. And then you come over here and you click the button to, yes, I've completed the steps above, and hit next, and voila, it does its thing. Now, when you do that, the next page, it's going to ask you what the index page is. This isn't really important. All you have to do, you can just put, instead of a Kartra page, you can put an external URL and you can just put your domain name in there. What that does is that's just going to forward, when somebody goes to that base URL, it's just going to forward them to that web page. And same thing with error page. If they type in something that doesn't exist on the subdomain, or you've changed the URL or something, it's going to show up with a 404 error page, which all that means is that just means that they've reached a page that says this page doesn't exist. Here's a link to go back to the site and navigate through. And then once you put those in, you just hit next, and that's it. That's all there is to it. So simple stuff. I've done this for a ton of people, like anybody that I'm hosting their accounts for and I'm managing their Kartra accounts. I just go in and do it for them. It's nothing for me to do it. It takes me just, a couple minutes, and it's a piece of cake. like I told Craig, what to do. And he's like, oh, dude, can you just do that for me? I'm like, sure, no problem. So anymore, if it's an account that I'm hosting and I'm managing the DNS, and it literally takes me, less than 5 minutes to do the whole thing. And then once you've done that, basically at that point, over inside of your main domain, like I can go to my site. Let's see here. Go to internetdominators.com. My client acquisition form. Okay, so when I go to download this, that we're still on internetdominators.com here. But when I go, this is a Kartra button. By the way, this is integrated. This is a Kartra form integrated right into my website. I'm going to go to download it. And then what's happening, here's the thank you page. Look at what page it is. It's dominators.internetdominators.com. That's a Kartra page. This is a page built in Kartra. So it's got the download link. It's got all the tracking, all the analytics from Kartra. And it still looks like it's internetdominators.com. There's no Kartra in here. And notice up here, it's got my little symbol, my little icon for my logo instead of the Kartra. So that's basically how you do it.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah. And then you're free to create all the stuff you want in Kartra, and it will look like it's all part of your website. I'm
getting ready to be dangerous.
So yep, that can make you dangerous right there.
John, I'm
yeah.
sorry if you have other questions. This is a linking question in Kartra as well, since we're kind of
okay, sure.
linking in Kartra. So I'm trying to recreate what you have on your page, on your website, where you have the ability to have a client login. So I have this wonderful girl now, and she put a client login tab. And she's got it going to a page, but I'm still suffering around the self-billing. So you have, can I share my screen a minute so that I can show you what I'm talking about? Okay, great.
Sure.
So, okay, that's what I ultimately want to have show up, but your website is this, okay? And I know you know your website, but I'm showing this to others.
Yeah.
There's a client login, right?
Yeah. Now, the reason that I did this, the reason I created a client login page instead of just taking them to log in was I have like multiple companies inside of my Internet Dominators. I have companies that are paying me for SEO services. I have companies that are paying me for my ACT membership stuff. I've got all these different places that you could log in.
Yes, and so do I. And that's why I want to duplicate your page.
So like what I did on the left there's ACT Marketing Protocol members area. So if somebody's trying to figure out how do I log into ACT, boom, there it is. The next one over is commercial clients. If I have a commercial client, they know to log in there, and that's their billing system. If I've got, like, I have people that have been in my Dominator Club and my, that's now the ACT Marketing Protocol, but there's some people that know that as the SEO Dominator Club from way back, like from 10 years ago. So I call that my legacy SEO Dominators Club. So they know where to click to log in. So that's why I did this page.
I got it. So my question is not about the page itself. It's still about getting to the billing system, because when I go into my Internet Dominators here, this is my membership, your membership, right?
Correct. Yes.
I still have these little icons over here that still don't get me to billing.
Okay.
Okay. So what you've done, and by the way, it's the same true for mine. If you were to go into my 90 days to done thing, or if you were to go into my 8 steps to reps thing, or if you were to go into my gold standard thing, which are all separate logins, they will get these same icons. They still don't know where to change their credit card. But what you've done is you've put, where is it here? This thing called membership billing system. And when I clicked that button,
Yeah, that takes you to the
it
My
takes me
Account
right
page.
to it.
Yes.
That's what I want to know how to link.
Okay. So you see the URL up at the top?
Yep.
If you have your Kartra, like mine is dominators.internetdominators.com. If I were using the Kartra address, it would be dominator.kartra.com/my account.
Well, what is mine then? I just
So
need to know
your-
that link.
Yours would be whatever your address is, like whatever your username is, .kartra.com or whatever subdomain you've put it under, /my account.
There's my products, self-billing. Is that it? So
Uh-huh.
there-
Yeah.
but this just says app.kartra.salesbilling. So that's not,
No, that's not it. See, it's got aobt.actoutsidethebox.com /self-billing. That's your address right there. You've muted yourself out there.
My goodness.
so what she's done is so far is created this for me.
Okay, so
Right.
go back to where you were. And copy that link
Yes, I know where to get it to say, okay, I
and
can
then
do that.
paste that in and see if that's not what you're looking for.
I'm sure. Oh, let me see. Okay. If I were to go separately over here. Paste and go.
You'd
It
have
comes back to
you'd have-
locate your
well,
order.
Yeah. So what's happening there is you're either not logged in or you're not logged in as a customer.
But I am. So these are, so here are, this is what she created for me. And you'll notice what's weird, you're right about that. What's weird is I am logged into this one because I have access. This one I'm not using right now because this at the beginning of this season, when I started this very first membership, you're like, I can't find it. I lost my login. So now I just created everything on one page, but I'm going to go back to the membership. But there is this membership as well. And I guess I'm not logged into that one, but I am logged into this one because I can get right in, right? So
Okay.
I'm logged in.
Does that one have a recurring membership?
This is not a recurring membership, but it has 3-part billing. So for example, I guess because I'm already paid up, is that why?
That might be, yeah.
Okay, so
That could
anybody
be.
who was part of this, but still owed money, like say they chose the 3 payment option,
Mhm.
would be able to access self-billing.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and actually that's incorrect then for this one. Let me get back out of here. Because I am my own gold standard member. I pay myself a whole $1 a month just to make sure it's all working. I wonder why. I know why, because I'm not using the membership right now.
Yeah, you're not logged into that membership.
Got it. All right, well, that makes sense.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
And I'm not clear that I'm a member of my own 8 Steps to Reps. So
Yeah, because I know I've had the same thing on other stuff. Like when I buy something from somebody else in Kartra and it's just a one-time purchase,
right.
it's that same thing. And it's one of those things with Kartra. And here's something that's kind of encouraging about Kartra. You know how I got away from their calendar system?
Yeah, now they're coming out with all the things going, we fixed our calendar.
Yeah. You know, eventually they listen and they get to it.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people have complained about the billing thing just like you are, and I was one of them.
Yeah.
For me, it wasn't as big a deal, I think, as it probably might be for you. So it wasn't something like I'm gutting away from it because of that, like I did.
Oh, now you're muted, John.
I'm muted out.
Your
We can't hear you.
Your sound went away.
Oh, not sure why. It looks.
Oh, there you go. Now we hear you.
Oh, okay. I just clicked the sound button, but it was already on. So not sure what was going on with that. But anyway, what I was saying is that it wasn't that big of a thing for me for the billing thing like it was with the calendar. The calendar was a real pain in my ass. So I
Right.
just said, okay, I'm just moving away from the calendar. I would not move away from Kartra for anything because it just does so much for me.
Right, right.
Like-
I have another meeting. I've got to go. Thank you. That helped immensely. I'll go back and test all those things and become members of my own thing.
All right. Well, cool.
Okay. Thank
Good
you
luck.
so much.
You're very welcome. So, all right. I didn't give you guys a tremendous amount of time really to answer or ask questions on here. And I know you guys always know that you can always jump right out if you do have a question for me. But if there's anything on your mind, you need to clear it up, let me know here before we cut out today.
John, I just have a quick question. I heard before you talked to Linda, before you talked to Lisa, you answered a question for Linda, and I heard the answer, but I didn't quite hear the question. Was it to explain how to, when you create a page in Kartra, how to connect it to a subdomain?
Yes, what she was wondering, like when she creates pages in Kartra, they had the Kartra address. Like it was her site.kartra.com. And she thought that she had to like reproduce all that on her own site and then put the buttons over there. And I said, no, you can create all the pages you want inside Kartra and have them hosted on your own domain, just like by putting a subdomain in.
Okay, so then if I'm redoing the website at the moment. So then if I host it with you, you can create a subdomain.
Yeah. Anybody that I'm hosting, it's super easy for me to go in and do that.
Yeah, and it's either whether it's a Kartra page pointing to that, or whether it's a new page to be added to. It's just that you can create a subdomain easily, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you have Kartra pointed to your subdomain, every page you make in Kartra is now able to be hosted on that subdomain for you.
Okay.
So it makes it really nice. It makes the integration really smooth.
Okay.
Any of your links, you can put them on your own subdomain. You can actually put it on a main domain too, but it's kind of hard if you're using that domain for your other website. That doesn't mix. Like I have my Internet Dominator site, and I don't want the whole thing to be Kartra. I have a WordPress site. I want Kartra pages integrated into it. So I put all the Kartra pages on that subdomain.
Okay, so that's one. Yeah, so I will have a WordPress site. So what I want to understand is, so you don't make a subdomain for every page that you make.
No, you make one subdomain and all the pages are on there. So it would be like, I like to use get. Like on mine, I use Dominators, and it's kind of repetitious. It's like dominators.internetdominators.com. If I used get, it would have been get.internetdominators.com.
But if it's different pages, there's not different subdomains. So
no, so it would be like get.internetdominators.com / and then the page name.
Okay.
Yeah. So each page would have its unique page name, but they all have the same, just like on a website, your domain name doesn't change, just the page names change.
So, but if there's something that's not in Kartra that I create after the WordPress site is built, it also needs a domain, a subdomain, but those will be all separate subdomains, but the Kartra ones are all in one subdomain. Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, and any pages, you can just put them on your regular domain if you want to. You don't have to have a subdomain to add pages to your site.
Okay, yeah, it will all become clear, I guess. Once a new site is done, then I will try to figure out the Kartra. I just trying to do little piece by little piece. Thank you so much, John.
Like the main reason why you would want a subdomain is if you were having some kind of a third-party software hosted on it that didn't interact well with your site. Like let's say you had a shopping cart, and a lot of people will be using, some kind of a third-party shopping cart like Kartra, but they can't integrate it with their site very easily. So they just put it on a subdomain. Like mine, for instance, my commercial accounts are billed through a third-party software. So I created a subdomain called billing.internetdominators.com. And that software is all hosted under that subdomain.
Okay.
So when my commercial accounts, they log in, they're clicking the button and it's going to billing.internetdominators.com. It has a completely separate login. It's a totally different software. And that's where they live in there. All their accounts are in there. They can add products to their account. They can pay for stuff, all of that.
Okay, thank you so much, John.
Sure, absolutely. All right. Anybody else? Tom, I see you're unmuted, but I'm not hearing you. Not sure if Tom's there or got a question.
John, I have a question, but my video, oh, there it is. Oh, shoot. I don't know what's going on here. It's just freezing. It's Allie. Rich and I bought a domain and we want to start a business. He wants to start a business. And I wanted to ask you, how would we go about working with you to develop the whole thing, like the website and all of it? Because I don't want to, like, I'm your perfect Frank Kern. Don't deal with it, John. I can't handle it.
No, we just schedule a call. We'll go over it, and then I'll have my designers. Basically, the way it works with my web development is we do an intake call. We gather some information. I pass it to my designer. My designer basically makes a rough comp for you. It's like a Photoshop illustration of what it would look like. And if you approve it, then it gets passed to the development team and they go ahead and they build it out. If you don't like it, then we send it back to the designer and he redesigns it based on your input.
Is it ever available to talk and collab with them directly, or is it always just like input and then come back?
Yeah, it's input. So you look at it, you tell, basically you say what you don't like about it or whatever. And it's just the communication is problematic. It's like they speak a different language than most of us do. And my thing is I'm like an interpreter. I speak all the languages. I speak the design language. I speak the development language. I speak the programmer language. Even though I don't do those things, I have learned the languages. So I'm like the perfect translator. I can interpret what you want and tell them in the way that they can do it effectively.
Okay.
Every time I've tried to put people directly, it becomes a disaster.
Okay.
And it creates a lot of frustration too. So I don't want frustration for you.
Okay. That's it. I don't either.
Yeah.
John, your guys did a copy for me that I have since worked on and want to interject into the body of it.
Oh, that's no problem.
Yeah, so how do I do that?
Yeah, just send me the updates. I pass it to the team and they update it and you're good to go. That's easy. Anything you want. If you want to change a color scheme, logos, content, whole structure, whatever, just let me know and I just pass it to the team and it's like magic. And I've got two teams. I've got one team in India and I've got one team in the Philippines, and their work day is like in the middle of our night. So it's really cool. I basically put together my hit list at the end of the day and I wake up in the morning and it's all done. It's like I got a bunch of little elves working all night. So it's pretty cool.
John?
Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Oh, okay. Who knows?
I didn't hear you before.
No, go figure. Technology. Can you answer a B Connect question?
Sure, hopefully.
Clarify it. Well, the members of B Connect get Zoom for what, $12.99 a month?
Yes, that's correct. That's one of the benefits of the pro level and up.
And that would normally be about $200 a year for Zoom meetings, so 22% savings. Do I talked to you about this and talked to them, to clarify that, you actually get the Zoom video webinar 500 seat license, which
Correct.
is $1,400 a year.
That's correct. Yeah, it's a massive savings.
And I don't think that, I'm thinking that most people didn't realize that.
I know I've told a lot of people that, like when I do it, I turn it into a math equation and I'm like, look, you'd be crazy not to do this. It saves you so much money in the long run. It's phenomenal. But yeah, in answer to your question, it is the enterprise version of Zoom, which includes a 500 seat conference license and a 500 seat webinar license. And it does, since it's the enterprise version, it also does transcription if you record. If you record to the cloud, like I'm recording just to my desktop here because I just upload these to YouTube. But if I were to want a transcription, I would just change the setting to record to the cloud. And as it's recording, it's transcribing as it's doing it. So like if I were to do a webinar and I wanted to make a PDF, a downloadable PDF of the content of the webinar, I'd have it all transcribed for me at the end of the webinar, all on the house.
Well, that's a huge savings.
Yeah.
Is anybody advertising or leading with the Zoom deal?
No. I'm the only person I know that has led with the Zoom because that's what brought me to it originally. When I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, I can save a boatload of money here. And, with Be Connected, all you have to do is bring 2 people in and then you get the ride for free for life. I'm like, I can do that in my sleep. So for me to come in, I think I paid $2.99 and I brought in a couple people and ride for free now. And it gave me access to that Zoom webinar discounted for life. It's like, wow, that's a deal.
Well, and I signed up under you for $4.99.
Yeah. When I did it, I was number like 61. Taking them up on the offer. I was like way in the beginning and they're up over 10,000 at this point, but pretty exciting stuff. Any of you that are involved in it, if you're available for the Saturday call, they do Saturday training calls every week. They're going to be announcing some pretty cool stuff this coming Saturday. And I'll actually be on there. One of the things they're going to be talking about is my involvement with the company. Since the beginning, I've been very helpful with them. I've helped them with their marketing. I've helped them, even with their training and all of that stuff. And they've actually offered me a pretty exciting upgrade that they're going to talk about on Saturday. So if any of you guys are available for that, you can hop in and get all up to date on all the stuff that they're doing. I've talked them into a lot of really cool stuff. Like some of you have had trouble getting 2 people. And I hear that, I'm listening. I went back to them and I said, look, why don't you do an upgrade and sell a lifetime version where people that don't want to do that don't have to. So now they've got that put in. It's just like Kartra, they listen and they change and they adapt and they make it better. So now anybody coming in, before what they were doing was they were doing $4.99 as an upgrade to include an affiliate program. And I'm like, no. You don't charge people to be an affiliate. That's not right. That's not the way this works. Nobody is going to pay you $200 to be an affiliate. I said, let's change that up. Let's make the $200 thing just be the lifetime. Make it, $4.99 and they get everything for life and you throw the affiliate in as a bonus. So that's one of the shifts that they've made. They've also broken out. I told them, if you want to grow this company, if you want to be the next LinkedIn, you're going to have a free version. So they've added the free version in now. So and what that does for any of you If you're a member and you want to get 2 people, or if you're an affiliate and you want to make affiliate sales and you want to make money with it, you can now give away a free account. I'm building them the funnels on the back end that will convert those free accounts into paying customers, and that benefits you. So when somebody comes in, you give somebody a free account, I'm going to go to work in the back end to convert them for you. I'm going to send them a series of emails that's going to tell them why they want to move up, and prompt them over and over and over to move up the ladder so you get paid. So that's part of my new involvement in the company, is helping them out with that stuff. So,
Well, and then also after they fill up the 500 qualified founding affiliate spots, the MLM aspect goes away, and it just turns into a two-tier commission program, which will help people that don't want anything to do with MLMs.
yeah, well, it's really, it's not an MLM. I know a couple of the people at the top, the presentations they came up with, they came from MLM. So a lot of their original presentations really smelled like MLM. And I got a lot of pushback from that. Anybody that knows me knows I'm not going to be involved in an MLM. I'm, sorry, it's just not me.
Kiss of death.
Yeah, it's just not me. I've done it. I've tried it. It's just not my thing. But what this is truly a 2-tier affiliate program. The difference in the qualified founding affiliate portion of it is a great difference. As the 2-tier, if you bring somebody in and they come in under you, you get the full commission on that. Anybody that they bring in under them, you get the second layer affiliate commission on that. So it is a 2-tier affiliate program for everyone. The difference is the qualified founding affiliate. If you get 5 people, if you get 5 direct sales under you, you get a chance to get one of the first 500 slots and being qualified founding affiliate. The difference is everything else is the same. The status is different, and what you get, anybody that comes in to be connected in the future that is not under a qualified founding affiliate, all of the roll down commissions that don't have a place to go roll up the hill to you. So let's say somebody comes in and they're under a member. Like a member comes in, they're not an affiliate, and they want to get their 2 people. Those 2 people come in under them. They do not get the commissions for it because they're not an affiliate. Those commissions are being paid, and all they do is they roll up the hill to the first qualified founding affiliate. Now, if you can imagine what's going to happen a few years from now, when you bring in, a handful of people under you, and they bring in 2, and they bring in 2, and there's literally thousands of payable commissions, and they don't have anywhere to go but up the hill to you. That's the difference in a qualified founding affiliate. And there's only going to be 500 of those slots.
And they were talking about, excuse me, they were talking about in the training where now you can sign up for associations, nonprofits, Chamber of Commerce, and places like that, and you're not pitching them as potential affiliates. So most of the time, they're just going to offer the benefits to their members, and you're going to get all of the commissions coming off that.
That's correct. That's another thing they've added in, is the ability for you to sell it to a master distributor, which is an association, like let's say a Chamber of Commerce, for instance, or E-Women Network. Anybody that's got a massive group of people, you bring them in, you can give them a full free account. The membership owner gets a full free account for the membership. What they do now is they introduce this to their entire flock. They get the first tier level commissions on that flock. As that flock brings more people in, all those second tier commissions and all of the stuff down the line rolls up to you. So, let's say you bring in an association that puts in 1,000 members, that could mean a lot of money as far as for the affiliate commissions. And that's what you guys should be focused on. Every one of you knows people. You've got to know somebody in your world that knows somebody that runs a chamber of commerce or a Kiwanis club or an e-women network type of thing. Anybody that's got a group of people that is in their membership, those are your targets. Why go and pitch people one-on-one when you can pitch 1,000 at once? That's leverage. You know, like Craig, I need to have this conversation with Craig because Craig knows all kinds of people. Craig is in paid groups. Like, you know, he has paid Malinchek a bunch of money over the years. Why wouldn't he go sign up Malinchek and he has an organization and get all of that from down that rung? You know, we all belong to masterminds. We all know people. We're all connected. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. So if you guys are in there, you should tune in on Saturday and kind of get the updates. They're going to be going through everything.
What time is that on Saturday, John? And do we just go to the website to?
Yeah, it's 10 a.m. on Saturday. So they do it every Saturday. It's their training for anybody that's in. It's they train you on how to basically introduce, be connected to other people.
And we just go to the website and go to the training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
okay.
If you're signed up as an affiliate in there, if you click the affiliate button and you're one of their affiliates, you should get the emails automatically.
John, I still need those extra 2. I have 3, but I still need those extra 2. So I need to work on that. But when you were talking, I feel the same way about MLMs, but because I've done MLM previously, not successful, but I have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people in MLM. So I'm just thinking this Be Connected, I think, is a really good thing for people who are in MLMs because they have a whole block of people, don't you think?
Absolutely. Like if you know somebody that runs an MLM, they're a perfect, I mean, that's like an association. That's a perfect person to bring in because they're so used to the model.
Yes.
They've made millions of dollars with that model. So all you're doing is you're just giving them another quiver in their,
and it will help their business.
yeah,
audience.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so I will listen to the training for the association because I've missed all that.
Yeah.
But that is a good idea. I have another question, non-Be Connected related.
John?
Do you offer maintenance on a WordPress site? Like if even if you haven't built it, if I just want, sometimes I want this updated and that updated, is that something I can do through?
Oh, we only do updates on the sites that we've built and the ones that are on our servers. Otherwise, it can become a real can of worms for us.
So even if it's on your server, but you haven't built it, you won't do it.
It depends on what's involved. We'd have to take a look at it. Usually we can, but I'd have to take a look at it and see what was involved. If it's got a bunch of stuff patched together and it's going to be a can of worms, I would recommend just rebuilding it.
No, like I said, I'm going to have a whole new site, but I just want going forward just to add a page here or change a little something.
Yeah, we can do that stuff for you.
Yeah.
That's not
okay. Thank you so much, John.
Sure.
John, really quick, going back to Be Connected. Just wanted to let you know there are some issues right now when somebody signs up for the $4.99 plan. It's not giving them the free. It's saying, I think it's saying like $90 monthly. So I'm working with the support on that. And the other thing they're having issues with, and they confirm this, that if somebody's on the $2.99 plan and wants to upgrade to the $4.99, they have not been able to do that. System does not have the capability right now. They're supposed to be running some change on the week of the 20th. So till that, they're not upgrading anybody till that's gone into place.
Okay, I will bring that up because I have I actually have a meeting with them at 1 o'clock here in about a half hour.
Okay.
And the main programmer, his name's Doug. I'll bring that up and find out where he's at with that.
Yeah, because somebody signed up for the 499, and then she was trying to talk to support on that, and then it said that she had to pay 19. She said, "Oh no, I didn't pay this 499 to skip paying monthly fees. That's the whole reason she did that."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's all linked to that change they need to make.
Yeah. So it's,
And one more question: do you know if they're going to add on additional support? I think just
yeah.
for that.
Yeah, they will be adding additional support on. It's kind of being bootstrapped together right now. The development of it has cost them a fortune. And what's happened is they grew really fast because of, all of us doing our thing and bringing in two and all that. But they kind of hit the edge of their box with the people that were involved. And it didn't flow over like they had expected to. That's where we kind of brainstormed around, and we decided, okay, let's bring the associations in. Instead of bringing people in one at a time, let's bring them in 1,000 at a time. That's going to grow much faster, and that will allow them to, to add on support and be able to support everything.
Okay, great. Yeah,
So
the two
there's-
that I have pending is one is an upgrade and one is not. So both of them are kind of in limbo right now.
Okay. Yeah, but there's some really cool stuff coming too. There's some stuff that hasn't even been announced yet that I know is going to save me as much or more than what I'm paying for Zoom for other stuff I've got in my business. They're making some really good contracts with vendors. So cool stuff.
Thank you.
So John, if we enrolled, like me, I enrolled through your recommendation with Tammy but earlier,
Mhm.
and Woody and I got in like right under the edge. So are we going to be grandfathered in with all that stuff, or how's that going to, the transitions, how's that going to work?
Yeah, you guys already got your two, so you're riding free, right?
Yeah, we're riding free, but with all the new bonuses, or
Yeah,
the new
yeah. Oh yeah, everything. They never take anything away. They only add to.
Okay.
So like when you got in early, so you've got your free. You also signed up for the affiliate, so you've got the affiliate thing, because all you had to do when you signed up was just click a link, and it was just a free add-on.
Right.
So yeah,
and
you
have the
keep
better
all of that.
price on the Zoom account as well. So
Mhm. Yeah.
So, but I just, like I enrolled Rich, but he's paying $49 a month because it's just been, we're trying to get his business up and running, which is why I wanted to talk to you about the website stuff and everything. It's
Okay.
kind of like so much going on. I haven't had a minute to pay attention to that, to even get two people under him.
Well,
But
at this point, he'll have the ability to upgrade the additional 200 to take him to the 499 and get lifetime. So he won't have to pay the 49 a month.
will they credit anybody? Because he's been paying 49 all that time.
They won't, I don't think they'll go retroactive on it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, that, fair enough. But what I wanted to ask you was, I know I asked you last week, we can just hit the link and send it to people and they can, and
Mhm.
if they hit our link, it gets credited to us for a lifetime and somehow channels through us if they ever do sign up out
Yeah.
of the free.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
then I wanted to go back to a website question. If we have the site designed by, I have a friend of mine who's an award-winning artist. If we buy a WordPress, I know you always say Builder Beaver or whatever.
Yeah, Beaver Builder. Uh-huh.
Beaver Builder. If my friend builds the site and I move it over in like wholly to your house, just for the sake of being able to work with him as a designer,
Mhm.
could I do that? And then it would be in your camp and you would continue with the maintenance, or
Yeah,
how
what
does that work?
what you're probably best off to do is have your designer just design it, have them do like a Photoshop layout mock-up, and then that's what we do. Like that's what our designers do. They design, well, here's what it's going to look like. And then we send that to our development team to actually develop it. And then
If they develop, let's say, what do you call the first page of a website, John? Like when
the homepage.
a homepage, thank you. I'm just basically landing pages, opt-in. Okay, the homepage. So if we design the homepage, how many pages in do you have to design?
Basically just the first one is all, because they're all going to follow that same format and that template. I mean, if there's specific pages, like if you have an about us page where you want something specific designed, you can do that too. No problem.
So we could send you the Photoshops, like kind of like as a, just like an illustration, and they would reverse engineer it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you wouldn't want that just moved over to your house?
Well, the design is different from the development.
Okay.
The design, if you have like, what I have found is usually designers are not good developers.
Right. Which is why I wanted to ask you about this, because I don't want to move forward. I want to make it easy, but I also like to work with people, and I got that. I understand completely how to work with you, and I got it. So you don't have to go through that again. But
Yeah, there's a lot of things about development that designers don't get.
Yeah.
They know how to make things look pretty, which is awesome.
Right. Well, and that's what my friend, he's an award-winning art director and designer. He's brilliant, but he gets that he doesn't know how to do programming development and all that. So he has a team too, but I want to work with you because he's, it's just, I'm sticking to.
Yeah, just have him design it, and then we'll develop it from there.
Okay. So
No
that
problem.
is available. That's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
great. So I'm just gonna schedule something with me and you and Rich when Rich is available, and we'll get the ball rolling. And we also probably, me, you, and Woody need to have, oh, I'm frozen, sorry. We need to kind of have an update meeting, so we'll figure, I'll put in a request to meet with you with Woody on his website as well.
Okay. Sounds like a winner.
Thanks, John.
All right. Anything else before we wrap up here? All right, guys. Well, hey, have a great week. Thank you all for being on here. And for those of you that are in, be connected. Show up Saturday and get all the updates.
Yeah.
Hey, John, I have one thing to say to you, John.
Sure.
Anchors away.
Thank you very much, Woody.
Everyone, see you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Have a great week.